This video is brought to you by HockeyMonkey.com, your one-stop shop for the best prices on all the latest and greatest hockey gear. Be sure to use coupon code HR4U7 at checkout to receive 7% off any order. Hey guys, Josh from HockeyReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review of the Easton Mako shoulder pads. These are the top-end shoulder pads on offer from Easton at this point in time, and they retail for $140 US. The Mako product line is all about providing a very natural fit with a nice free range of motion, and along with that concept, you get a very, very unique pair of shoulder pads. Probably the most unique set that I've personally ever worn, and with that unique design comes its own quirks that may or may not be for you, which we're going to cover in today's review. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. First off, I want to talk about the overall fit and feel of the Easton Mako shoulder pads. Now I want to say right away that these are not for everybody. Some people are going to love how these feel, and others are absolutely going to hate it. Now, what makes this so unique in terms of shoulder pads has a lot to do with the overall enclosure system, which feels a lot more like a tight-fitting vest as opposed to a traditional pair of hockey shoulder pads that tend to fit on your shoulder and kind of taper down a little bit. They fit tight in certain areas, but for the most part, it's a very loose, more relaxed type of fit. Something like the Easton Mako shoulder pads, like I said, are very contouring, very form-fitting, and very tight in the torso chest area, which isn't for everybody. Me personally, I got used to it pretty quickly, but with that being said, is this something that I would like to wear voluntarily? Probably not. It's not my cup of tea when it comes to shoulder pads. I prefer something with a little bit more of an open feel. But if you're somebody that likes to have very form-fitting, very close to the body type of hockey equipment that moves very closely with your body at all times and fits very closely to your body for maximum protection at all times, you're really going to like the feel of this shoulder pad because it is pretty unique in comparison to anything else that I've personally ever worn. Now, in terms of the enclosure system, like I mentioned, it is like a vest. You're going to notice that the side area of the shoulder pad is completely closed. There's no openings whatsoever. Because of that, they've implemented this vest-like enclosure system where you can pull this little orange tab right here and it will open up the shoulder pads completely. You put your arms through and basically you have one big shoulder pad vest, and then you close it up pretty much the same way. And when you close it up, this is where you're going to get that nice, tight, secure fit that is either going to be something that you love or something that you hate. And I also noticed that the enclosure itself is not particularly large. I wore a medium. I'm 5'11". I don't consider myself to be a particularly big guy. I'm around 175, 180 pounds. And I found that these fit me pretty snug. So if you're somebody that's a little bit bigger, got a little bit more muscle on them, or maybe even a little bit chubbier, depending on what your build is, just keep in mind that these fit pretty snug, so you may want to go a size up. Like I said, I wore a medium. I'm 5'11", around 180 pounds, and they fit me a lot tighter than I was honestly expecting. The one problem that I did have regarding the fit, other than that it is slightly unusual at first because of how form-fitting it is that because of the enclosure system, I found that it was somewhat difficult to get the shoulder pads to kind of close up straight, if you know what I mean. I felt like they were always sitting on my shoulder at a slight angle just because the enclosure system itself is on an angle, so it's very difficult to judge what is and isn't straight, and because of that it can feel a little bit odd. And I also found that the actual opening for your head itself was a lot smaller than you're normally going to find on most shoulder pads, and because of that it just bothered me a little bit. It seemed a little bit strange, it looked a little bit strange, and as far as the whole vest system goes, it feels pretty good. It's definitely very, very unique. You're going to get some weird looks in the changing room. Some guys think it's cool, some guys think it's very, very weird, and they give you some weird looks. But for the most part, it definitely is a cool idea by Easton, and it definitely does work as far as achieving that kind of one-to-one, very close feel. As far as the shoulder pads themselves go, the caps are very free. You have your bicep protectors that, again, have pretty much no restrictiveness to them whatsoever. And as far as adjusting the lower area of the shoulder pads themselves, you do have your straps on either side. But as you can tell, they don't actually go all the way to the back. What happens is they're actually anchored right here at the lower back, and they are elasticated. So when you pull them tight, it's just going to kind of tighten this enclosure area that would normally be open on a standard pair of shoulder pads, and it does make it a little bit tighter if you want an even tighter feel than you're already going to get from this vest-like enclosure. So for the most part,
this is a pair of shoulder pads that's going to offer a very close to the body feel that isn't for everybody, but like I said, if you want that one-to-one type of experience from your hockey equipment, you're really going to like the Easton Mako shoulder pads. When it comes to protection, you're actually getting some really good coverage from the Easton Mako shoulder pads. Because of this vest-like enclosure, there really aren't any openings in the pad itself other than the rib area, but of course your arms are going to be there. So for the most part, you're covered front to back at pretty much all angles with the shoulder pads. On the front area, you're going to find your high density foam right here in the middle. It's very hard. It feels like plastic, but it is actually just a high density foam right here on the front, protecting your sternum and stuff like that. And then of course you have your perforated, soft, kind of spongier foam on the side. So again, your full chest and torso area is fully covered. The same goes for the back. You have your high density foams going down the spinal column, and then your perforated spongier foams on the side protecting the rest of your back. Moving on to the shoulder caps themselves, it's a fairly unique design by Easton once again, in that there's no plastic in the cap whatsoever. Now that may sound a little bit scary to you guys, but honestly this is something that I read after the fact in the tech specs, and if you didn't tell me there was no plastic here, I would have never guessed. Instead, it's actually 5 separate layers of foam, different density foams. Obviously it's a special design that Easton is obviously not sharing with the rest of the world. They feel very light. But like I said, very solid. So in terms of protection, I would expect you to get plenty of it from the Easton Mako shoulder pads. And as far as the size of the caps go, I would say that they are medium to slightly small. They're not particularly large, as you guys saw when I kind of flashed that clip on screen of me actually wearing them. So for the most part, in terms of protection from the shoulder caps, you're definitely going to get plenty of it. Nothing really seems to be particularly alarming. And then of course you have your two-piece bicep guard. Again, it's fully adjustable. You can make it sit a little bit higher, a little bit lower on your arm depending on what your preference is, and it really doesn't restrict any motion either, and it's pretty much just a single density foam with your plastic cap on top, and of course your Velcro strap to make it fit a little bit tighter to your arm. You're also going to find your high density foam here going around the collarbone area, and other than that, that's pretty much it as far as protective elements go. What's great about this particular shoulder pad when it does come to being as protective as possible is, like I said, you're getting that nice tight one-to-one fit, so no matter which way you twist and turn, the guard is stuck securely to your body, so you're going to have maximum protection at pretty much all times. So again, if you're looking for that tight yet low profile feel without sacrificing protection, you're going to get that from the Easton Mako shoulder pads. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Easton Mako shoulder pads. It definitely is a unique design. It definitely isn't for everybody, but like I said, if you're looking for something that's going to fit very close to your body but still offer maximum protection and very good coverage at pretty much all angles, you're really going to like the feel of the Easton Mako shoulder pads. I've really never worn a piece of equipment like this before, and again, if you're looking for something different, if you like the whole concept of the Easton Mako product line, you're probably going to enjoy these shoulder pads. Again, if you are interested in purchasing some of these for yourself, you can find a buy it now link down below in the description of this video, along with the exclusive HR4U7 coupon code, allowing you to pick these up under the $140 retail price. So again, if you're interested in getting some of these for yourself, be sure to check out that link down below in the description of this video. If you have any questions regarding these shoulder pads or any suggestions for any equipment you'd like to see me review on this channel, feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews on all the latest and greatest hockey gear. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.